Let's talk a little Alabama taking on Michigan. This will be in Tampa, Florida, in the ReliaQuest Bowl, also known as the Cone Family House Divided Bowl.
They always do this to y'all.
Yeah, they do. 3 times in 5 years of marriage. Minus 11 right now, Alabama. 43.5 on the points line. Sounds like Jalen Milroe is going to play for Alabama. That's the last thing we heard, right? I don't know about the Michigan side. I think a lot of these guys who are first-round picks are going to be sitting out on the Michigan side. Obviously, some of these we aren't going to know even up till kickoff. We don't know about a lot of the opt-outs. But right now, how do you feel about Michigan's chances to beat Alabama in a bowl game?
Not good because Milroe's going to play. The thing about the Michigan opt-outs, we know they've been without Will Johnson for, a portion of the back half. He's probably not going to play. Like, is Mason Graham going to play? Like, are these defensive linemen going to play? That's the question I have. I know the transfer portal has affected a different amount of people. At quarterback, hell, throw me out there. Who knows with Michigan? It's not going to make that much of a difference anyway. I just feel like, is there also somewhat of a revenge factor for Alabama after what happened last year? Remember, Michigan beat them, then won the national championship. There's a reason that spread's at 11. I think Michigan is just trying to hurry up and get to Bryce Underwood.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do. Beating Ohio State, to me, has taken all the pressure off of Michigan to win a bowl game. I think that was the bowl game. That was the thing that mattered the most because you weren't getting in the playoff. We knew who Michigan was at that point. So I like Alabama. They want to get a good taste in their mouth after being left out of the playoff. You'll see some anger there. I think you'll see a little bit of a revenge factor for some of the guys that are on the team still. And plus, Jalen Milroe, especially if those D linemen aren't going to play for Michigan and Milroe's going to run around out there.
Have you seen some of the guys who are not only coming back from Michigan's D-line, but who they're getting out of the portal too with the Payne kid from Alabama?
Yeah, listen, there's 3 things I'll never worry about. Whether I love my wife, whether Auburn's going to let me down, and whether Michigan's going to have a good D-line.
They're going to be so good. How do you feel about this one?
It comes down to the single question, who's going to play for Michigan? That's what it comes down to. And I don't know if Kalen DeBoer can afford to lose this game.
What, you mean they'd fire him?
No, just from an optics standpoint. I mean, you have Greg Burns coming out pleading for money. You have guys going into the portal, the guys who are pretty good that you didn't think they're going to go there. If you go lose to this Michigan team, it's just going to be another layer of bad press, bad PR. It's just not going to be a good look. So I think Alabama and Kalen DeBoer are going to go like they have to win this football game, and I like Alabama to cover.
Interesting.
So you like the 11 right now?
Yeah, I've seen it 11 and 10.5. If it goes to
down?
10.5, I think it'll go down. If it goes to 10.5, buy that game at 9.5.
Without a doubt, that's 100%. Like Florida right now, it's down to 10. Bought it at 9.5 earlier today. Thank you. I'll put it in my pocket, walk out of here with a smile and a Big Mac.
All right, let's move on to South Carolina taking on Illinois. This is a cool 9-3 matchup here. This is the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, and right now that line is minus 9.5 South Carolina and 48 points on the point total.
Do we know for Illinois, who had a sneaky good year, by the way? I don't think enough people talked about what Bielema did at Illinois. Is Altmaier and all them playing? Like, do we know if Luke's playing or are these guys? This is what makes this so difficult. Because part of me, and some of y'all say, oh, this is soft or whatever. If I'm Shane Beamer, I want to end the year on a high note. We got left out of the playoff. Everybody's 13 favorites are pissed. But why play Lenore Sellers in this game?
Luke Altmaier is thankful to return for his senior year.
So he's playing.
For Illinois.
So he's playing.
So, I mean, it'd be weird to come back next year and not play
That's
the bowl
true,
game.
but like, do you think there's any thought about not playing Lenore Sellers in this game?
No.
I know they're going to. I don't say any will, but would you even entertain it if you were the head coach? Would you even entertain it? I know Kyle, the Kennard guy, the defensive lineman, who's a stud, isn't going to play in this game for South Carolina. What's the over-under in this one?
47.5.
God, I like the over. I really like the over.
Is this a type of game that South Carolina needs to go prove that they were a playoff team? Just need to go beat up Illinois for 4
Like, beat them up or just win it?
Definitely win it.
Win it. I mean, the spread's at 9.5. So I would say 2 touchdown game. And from a physical standpoint, you just look like the better team to go win this and to prove to the playoff committee that you are a playoff team.
That would also catapult you into next season, which I think is what they mostly need.
It would. But to me, I think the more important part about going and having a good showing here is to continue, and you talked about catapulting, but just continue to garner this big-time momentum that you captured in the back half of the season. You're able to go beat Clemson. Yes, you're disappointed you didn't get in the college football playoff, but it's like a snowball right now in a good way for South Carolina. They're just accumulating momentum and accumulating momentum and accumulating momentum. And then you look to next year to who they have coming back. I know they're losing some pieces on defense, but by having a good showing in this game, it's going to do nothing but enhance you in the eyes of other people that are getting in the transfer portal. So if you're South Carolina, you want to strike while the iron's hot. I agree with you. But will it be out of anger of not making the playoff? Maybe a little bit. But I think it'd be more out of wanting to keep the momentum going into next year, where South Carolina could legitimately, we'll see how it shakes out in the portal, be a top 5 team in the rankings heading into next year. I think you could see that.
All right, let's talk about Texas A&M taking on Southern Cal. Don't know who's going to play wide receiver for Southern Cal. A lot of those guys in the portal right now. But the line is -3.5 Texas A&M and 52 on the point total.
It's really hard for me not to say that taking this at 3.5 and buying it down to 2.5 for A&M may not be the best bet on the board. I think A&M is together. You got a young quarterback in Marcel Reed. You know they're going to play. They want to get that bad taste out of their mouth after having lost to Texas at home to eliminate you not only from the college football playoff, but from your opportunity to play in the SEC championship game for the first time in the history of you being the SEC. You want to get that momentum back rolling. And I think Elko is so good, and I've said this many times, of getting his guys to focus on the task at hand, kind of eliminating some of those distractions that in the past would kind of overcome Texas A&M. You look at USC, it's all distractions right now. Guys leaving left and right. I mean, heck, is Blaine going to have to play wide receiver for USC? I mean, I know the Maeva guy is going to be the quarterback, and he can do some nice things. But A&M, you look at who they have on defense. If you don't have all your weapons and they're not weapons grade, ready to go, you can get buried in this game by this A&M defense. I think this could possibly be, and I had said it was Florida before this, but that Florida line keeps sinking and it's scaring the hell out of me. This may be the best bet on the board. But if you're USC, how much do you need to just have a good showing in this game? I'm not even saying win. If A&M ties you to a pole and beats you to death with a baseball bat in the middle of the city, how much does that ratchet up the pressure even more on Lincoln Riley, where you have taken a 9.5 with a trust fund, and now she looks like she's been doing meth for the last 3 years and is on FBI's Most Wanted?
Yeah, you're going to have to see some improvement next year at USC for Lincoln Riley. To some people, there may not be a big difference between 6-7 and 7-6, but at least for the Trojans, what's at stake, because they're 6-6 right now, to finish with a winning record on the season rather than a losing record. I mean, look, that's better than the alternative. And then for Texas A&M, 8-4. I mean, Mike Elko finishes with 9 wins in his first season, 9-4. That'd be significant.
It's just, Jake, I agree with you. It's hard for me not to bet A&M in this game. I mean, first of all, how much do you trust a new kid at quarterback for USC?
I mean,
have you seen enough for him to trust him?
Defense, but without the weapons. Like, I don't even think it's about trusting him. Like, look who's gone. Like, everybody's leaving. And to me, this is it feels like USC right now is bleeding out on the ground. And this could be a little bit of a tourniquet to stop the bleeding somewhat, beating it. You know what you could say for USC? Yeah, it didn't go great. Beat 2 SEC teams, though. Beat LSU, beat Texas A&M. There's something to be said for that. You can sell that a little bit. USC sells itself, but you need a little bit of an add-on, a little upcharge with the meal. But, I mean, if you go get drowned in this game, like, dude, you talk about not being as attractive as you used to be. I mean,
it comes to bowl games, it's almost like, who cares more? That's what team is more together and what team is?
I think A&M. I think
Florida. I feel like Florida cares more.
Yeah.
Right now in that game versus Tulane, I think A&M cares more about this win right now than USC does with all the distractions. Not a lot of distractions.
I think Bama cares more than Michigan.
I do. I think Michigan's already looking to next year. I really do. With all the big names they've gotten, Bryce Underwood through the portal, I think what teams need this the most? I think this will be a great cap-off for Billy Napier at Florida. A great, I mean, Texas A&M with Mike Elko, great cap-off win. Even if Lincoln Riley wins this game, this season will be looked at as a failure.
Yeah, but at least you stop the bleeding somewhat. Because again, you go get dry. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if Mike Elko can beat USC by 50 points, he's going to do it. He's going to 100% do it. So if you go lose by 28 or 30, it's just going to do nothing but speed up the collapsing of the roof that is going on out at Southern Cal.
And on the Florida point, especially if DJ Lagway goes and plays well, which he'll probably play well if Florida wins the game, at 7-5 right now, they'd finish 8-5. And Billy Napier could say, we finished 8-5 with 4 straight wins over LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State, and then in the bowl game against Tulane. And that was after, I think, roughly after the AD had sort of secured his job and said Billy Napier's coming back with one of the toughest schedules in the country.
And you have hope. And you have the anointed one. You know, it's one thing to be lost at sea and the ship sinking and you steady the ship and you stop it sinking. It's another thing to be lost at sea, the ship sinking, fix the ship so it's not sinking, and then somebody screams land ho. That's what this feels like for Florida because of what DJ Lagway's brought. Look at who they're getting through the portal. They just had a kid unsigned from Oregon to flip to Florida. Florida's it's starting to get hot again. And can Billy handle it? This is his last salvo. You got the momentum. You got your quarterback. You're probably going to beat up Tulane. Yeah, the schedule sucks next year, but you're in a much better position as a team and how you're going to supplement this roster this year and the confidence. Is it crazy to think? I want to ask everybody in the comments this, and people are going to call in when the phone line's open here in 5 minutes. Am I crazy to say that Florida fans have more faith in Billy Napier than Ohio State fans have in Ryan Day right now? Is that a true statement?
That might be a stretch.
You think is that the line? Is that the line? I don't know. I don't think it's that.
Hey, you know what? I'll tell you after this weekend.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Hey, appreciate you guys stopping by. It means the world to us, whether you agree, whether you disagree. Hopefully it's a little bit of both. We love engaging. Y'all are the best audience in the world. And please make sure you hit that subscribe button because it helps everybody out.